All right, folks, good morning. Let's get started. All right, so first things first, economic data for today. Today's a big day. At 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern, we're going to have Fed Chairman Powell testifying. Now, excuse me, we've already had ADP non-farm employment change that already came out, and it came out worse than expected. That was at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. The number came in at 140,000. The expectation was 149. However, that is higher than the previous reading, so in some sense it's an improvement, but nevertheless it's less than expected. At 10 o'clock Eastern, as I mentioned, we'll have Fed Chair Powell testifying. So that's half an hour into the session, which means that I have to expect there's going to be high volatility, and there's a very good chance the market's not going to be effectively tradable. Now, it's always possible to trade, but at times the predictability of the market gets so low that you can't afford to be in positions for more than a minute or so. So if that's the case, then essentially it's going to be untradeable. We'll also have JOLTS job openings coming out at 10 o'clock as well. Then we'll have final wholesale inventories coming out at 10. At 10:30, we're going to have crude oil, which is not important at all, so I'll skip it. 12 p.m. we'll have FOMC member daily speaking, and then 2 p.m. we'll have beige book. So essentially, everything's going to start to get difficult at 10 o'clock Eastern. So just expect that, be ready for it. And as I mentioned, understand. Source released testimony 90 minutes earlier than expected due to testify about the semi-annual monetary policy report before the House Financial Services Committee in Washington. Now, again, since this is going to be an actual hearing style of meeting, there's going to be lots of questions. Now, it is mentioned here that Powell, his testimony text was released 90 minutes early. So, I don't know. So, whatever the case may be, we'll see what happens. So, I'm a little confused, though, that they said they released the text early. So, I guess that's just his report, part of the text, and then we'll see what happens after that. Either way, since the text has already been released 90 minutes early, the market must already be absorbing some of it. But obviously, if this is a live testimony, which is what I understand, then that should make the markets more difficult. All right, that all being said, let's move on. So the NASDAQ itself is up pre-market. You can see here that we've gapped higher. So far after that gap higher, we've been mostly flat. Yesterday was clearly bearish. Let's take a look at the stocks which were moving yesterday. So I'm not going to go over every single one of them. Let's focus the attention on the more interesting opportunities. So T-Mobile, we did not catch this early, but we did catch it after the move. It started, and it was almost able to reach T2. Got within 1 penny of T2, which was at 166.78. Topped out at 166.77. Next up, we've got CrowdStrike, CRWD. CrowdStrike is up sharply off of earnings, but yesterday it was bearish, and it was able to reach target number 2 to the downside of 290.62 before bottoming out and then reversing a little bit of its losses. Adobe was able to reach target number 2 to the downside of 542.10, and then it stopped going down. DraftKings, DKNG, was able to reach target number 2 to the downside of 42.70, reached a low of 42.16 before coming back to target number 2 to the downside. And Microsoft was able to reach target number 2 to the downside, 406.89, then bottomed out at 400.64. So pretty good moves for some of these stocks. It wasn't everything that was moving, but as I mentioned, I was just going to look at the ones that were more impressive. Looking at the pre-market, here's what we got. Um, Quite a few stocks were on the radar. Let's walk through them one by one. So let's start with CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is currently up 22.45%. It's only trading 500,000 shares, so it doesn't qualify for our pre-market radar. CrowdStrike is already on our regular watch list, so we will see that once the opening bell rings, and then we'll see what it does after that. So it's not a pre-market watch, but it is already on our list. All right, we have AISP, which is currently up about 50%, somewhere in that range. 15 million shares. It's trading above $1 per share, so it definitely qualifies. So we're going to take a look at that for the pre-market. We'll add that to our list. AI SP was on our list yesterday as well, by the way. Next up is CELZ, cells. All right, currently up about 28%, 1.8 million shares. It's at least $1 per share, so we'll add that to our pre-market radar as well, CELZ. All right, next up we've got IFBD, presently up 32%, 4.7 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll add that IFBD to our pre-market radar. Mara showing up on the list, but I doubt it's moved enough. Okay, it's up 5%, so not up enough. But if Mara were to go up a little bit more, it would be qualified. It's already on our regular list, so we'll take a look at that later. Next, we'll look at meds. Up 39%, 1.7 million shares, at least $1 per share. So that does match all the criteria we need. So I'll add meds to our pre-market radar. Next up, we have MRAI, which is presently up 7.84% on 2.7 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll add MRAI to the pre-market radar. All right, SoFi had a strong day yesterday, but not a strong enough percent move right now, so I have to skip that one. SOUN is also not up enough, only 5%, so I'll have to skip that one. We need at least a 6% move. TNDM is only up 0.65%. I don't know why that even showed up on the list, but that's not moving enough. And Tesla is moving, but only down 1.56%, so not enough, so we'll skip that one as well. All right, if you folks see any other stocks other than the ones I've already mentioned that meet our criteria, let me know in the chat. So far we have the following, and that's it so far. So if you see any other stocks that meet the 4 criteria, let me know in the chat, and then I'll go ahead and take a look. IBIT, let's take a look. Okay, that's correct. Currently up 7.39%, 2 million shares is at least $1 per share. So we'll add that to the pre-market radar, IBIT. Funds right on the edge, let's see. Oops. Yeah, let me see if the volume is moving quickly enough to get there. So it's close. Only needs 13,000 more shares to qualify, but it's not actually moving. The shares have not moved, so that's not it. Okay, just move one share, now a few more. I'll put that on the possibilities list, but it's got to see some faster volume. It probably will get there. You know, if it can get there, if it can get to 990 in the next minute or so, then I would say add it. If it can't, then I would just put it on the possibilities list and check before market open. So I'm going to put it on the possibilities list since we got to wrap up here, but that's pretty close. All right. So, folks, firstly, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you hit the like button, please. We have more than 12 people watching at any given time, but we have about 12 likes right now. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel as well. That way you get notifications, and also that also helps us with the algorithm. As far as it goes, if anyone's watching this on a replay and you're not familiar with our company, if you're watching it later, please be sure to check out fundertrading.com, our website. You will see a link in the description of the video. For everyone who's in the coaching program, I will see you here, or there, sorry, in about 27 minutes, and then we'll pick up from there. And for everyone else, I'll see you for tomorrow's pre-market pulse. All right, take care, everyone. Have a fantastic day. Take care.